Is an American in London and the best-selling novelist of The Mandibles, and we need to talk about Kevin. A novelist is not usually the kind of person you turn to for hard-headed monetary analysis. Novelists are grand for character development, sense of place, eye for detail, limpid descriptions of landscape and weather. But the financial scene usually seems a bit boringly green eyeshade for their tastes. Not so with Lionel, so we're glad to have her back. Lionel, you've been on this subject for a decade now, and there's more going on here than just a regular cycle of inflation, high interest rates. As you say, money has been free. You have to be really in late middle age now to remember a time when money was not free. There was no such thing as an interest rate, in effect.
Yes, and I don't think that capitalism works when money is free. And what we have instituted something that's never been tried before, even for a brief period of time, and then kept it going for an entire generation. So we've had near zero interest rates in most of the West, and even in the EU, they've gone negative, which is extraordinary.
Yeah.
You have to pay to have your money in the bank.
That's right. The bank pays you. Yeah, the bank pays you. That's incredible.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this has been a kind of emergency creep. So that a measure that was brought in 2008, because it really seemed as if we were on the brink of oblivion financially. And the entire system internationally was really at risk of collapse. So it did make sense, briefly, to bring in some policies that nobody had ever tried before. And the problem is that they've carried on. And there's a huge moral hazard to making money free, because it means big surprise, it motivates people to borrow more because it doesn't cost anything.
Right.
But, so what was essentially a debt crisis to begin with was solved with more debt. We're more in the red than ever. And that's not just private investors, but it's governments. So, and governments have, been at the financial tit as well, partly because of zero interest rates. It doesn't cost them anything. And then lo and behold, if inflation takes off, because at the same time we've got these zero interest rates, we also have vast and unprecedented money printing. And so finally, the inflation that lots of us have been predicting for a long time now has shown up with a vengeance. And so, yes, now the interest rates are going up a teeny weeny bit. I mean, they're still ridiculous when we've got, double-digit interest rates here, over 8% in the U.S., and we've still got a Fed rate of 3.1%, and over here, 2.25. Those are still historically ridiculous, tiny interest rates. Well, and even there, when mortgage rates go up a tiny bit, then everyone gets hysterical because they have bought houses they can't afford. Not if you have to pay for borrowing the money.
Right, that's true. We just reported earlier this National Statistics Office thing that the cost of basic grocery items has gone up 17%. And yet interest rates are still sort of 2 to 3% around the Western world. What happens when you have that big a disconnect between the actual inflation rate and the official interest rates?
Well, I guess we're about to find out. I mean, we haven't ever tried this before, and we've never been in this position before. But this was anticipatable. The zero interest rates could not carry on indefinitely without basically leading to currency collapse, because you borrow so much money that eventually it gets through that nobody's ever paying this money back. But
Yep.
we now, I am somewhat sympathetic with central bankers in that they're in a corner, because if you raise interest rates too high, too fast, then you shove the economy into a recession. They don't want to do that. At the same time, inflation is the sure route to destroying your economy.